Hello guys, welcome to another video on the AWS. So I'm going for the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate certificate, and on this video, we are going to go over some hands-on experience using compute. We might touch base on some networking, and we might discuss a little bit of storage, but we are going to discuss compute. And the compute one that we're going to talk about is going to be EC2. And the way that I'm learning, um, the tutorials that I'm watching or the videos that I'm watching for this certification that has helped me a lot, they come from IT Pro TV. As you can see right now, I'm over the Amazon EC2 Basic Part 2. You actually watch Part 2 and Part 3 and Part 4. So, and if you want to have this, if you want to get 30% off of IT Pro TV, you can use my promo code ASKAROGANDO2 and you will get 30% off of IT Pro TV, and you will also get 7-day free trial, so you can try it before they charge you. But after they charge you, if you use my promo code ASKARORGANDO2, as you can see right here, if you use my promo code, they will give you 30% off of your entire purchase. Um, so I have used this IT Pro TV for my to get my CCNA routing and switching, and also my CCNA security exam, which only took me 111 days or 101 days. So let's go ahead and start with this labbing. Or let's go ahead and start with this lab. So we're going to go over EC2 from the AWS Management Console. We are going to go over the categories of compute, and we're going to go to EC2. And after we go to EC2, we are going to, first of all, we are going to launch a instance. So let's go ahead and do that first. Um, we are going to select the Amazon Linux 2, which is the free tier one. We are going to launch this one, Amazon Linux 2 image, or the AMI. We're going to select it, and we are going to stay in the free tier one because we don't want to pay for it, right? This is just um, for education purposes. So we are going to select this one, and the T means it's just the basic one. So the T2 are the basic ones. If you go down here, you're going to see more like the M's, and the M's are more memory optimized ones. If we scroll down, there's a lot of M's over here. So memory optimized, and then we have some C's, a lot of C's down here. Then we have the the G2s and the G3s right here, and these ones are more um, um, GPU based instances right here with the G's. Let's see if I can find the R's. So the R's, these ones are more, the R are memory optimized. I'm sorry for that. The R are memory optimized. The I's, if we can find the I's down here, the I's are for storage optimized. So I's are storage optimized. The R are memory optimized. The R, and then um, the I are storage optimized, and the C are compute optimized. And the M are just the general purposes. But you can see they have different CPUs, memory instances, um, and all that good stuff. So we are going to launch the free tier one. Let's go ahead and review and launch. And as you can see right here, this gives you a summary of what you are going to be launching. Gives you the details of what is going to have, storage of what is going to have, the size, 8 gigabytes, GP2, IOPS, and tags. We didn't put any tags, so let's go ahead and launch it. We do not have any key pair, so we need to go ahead and create a new one. And you need to make sure that you not know that you do not lose this key pair, because if you lose this key pair, you won't be able to get another one. Let's actually call it test. So if you lose this key pair, you won't be able to get another one. There is not another way to get another key pair, and this is the way that we connect to the instance is via using this public and private key pair. Um, that's the way that we authenticate into this EC2 instance, right? So let's go ahead and download it. Make sure that you save it. It's called test.pem. Save it. So it's going to download into my downloads. I'm going to leave it there. And let's go ahead and launch the instance. And you got to make sure that you not lose that, because if you lose it, you won't be able to connect to your instance. Then you're going to have to, if you cannot find your key, you're going to have to delete your instance and create a new one, because you won't be able to connect to it at all. Okay, here we go. Your instance are now launching. So let's go ahead into view instances. As you can see right now, it is pending. It is also, as you can see, it is initializing. Let's go ahead and refresh, and it's still pending. So while that is pending, we can go ahead and take a look at the description. If you go ahead to this tab right here, you can see on the description, you can see that it gives you the instance ID, the instance state, the state of it, it is pending, so it has not been created. The type of instance, it is a T2 micro, and the availability zone, it is in the US East 1D, and I believe that's in North Virginia region. And there we go. My um, my instance has been created. So that's good. Let's go ahead and try to, first of all, I'm going to try to connect to it. And the way that you connect to it, you can go right here, click on this button and connect to it. And there's three ways that you can connect to it. Either you have a standalone SSH client, or EC2 instance, so you can connect directly from the browser. Or if you have a Java SSH client directly from your browser, you can also do that. But I want to do it as a standalone SSH. Okay. And the way that you do that from a Linux device, you're going to have to go to the command line. And what we need to do is we need to go into where the key, we need to go into the key, where the key is. If we go to ls, let's see if we can find it. I know I have a bunch of stuff in here. And I believe I call this test. Here we go. So it is right here. So the first thing that I need to do is you need to change the permission on it. You need to change that permission to 400, because if you try to connect to it, it won't let you do it. If you want to go ahead and try it, let's go ahead and try it. And you guys are going to see that it's not going to let us connect to it. Let's go ahead and copy this right here, paste, and you need to be in the directory where your um, key is. Otherwise, it won't work. But here we go and try to connect to it. As you can see, the authenticity of the compute cannot be established. Are you sure you want to continue? Let's press yes. Please type yes. Yes. Here we go. As you can see right here, it gave me this error. It says that the permission on the test.pem, it gave me this error right here. So I need to first go ahead and change that. So if we do a chmod 400 and we do a test.pem, there we go. So now we have changed the permission. Now it's going to let us connect to it. Here we go. So now we are connected to our Linux um, instance or device. So we are connected to it. So the first thing that you want to do when you connect to it is that you want to update, right? You want to do an update. And the way that you do an update, you want to do a sudo for the, that means that you're going to run it as a root yum update. There we go. And no package marked for update, so we don't have any update, right? That's what it's telling me right now. Yep, there's no update. Okay, so that is good. We don't have any updates to do on this Amazon instance that we have running right here. One of the things that you also could do, or that we are going to talk about, is the IP address of it. As you can see, we connected to this instance by using the DNS name. So to connect to a instance, you could either pick the DNS or the public IP address. And the public IP address of an instance is actually a dynamic IP address. As you can see right here, it gave us this IP address. And this IP address, like I said, it is dynamic. So whenever you shut down your instance and reboot it again, you're probably going to get another instance because it is dynamic and it's always changing. So get a if you want to buy a IP address, what you could do is you could do an elastic IP address, and from over here you can allocate a new address, and this one is going to give you a static IP address. So it's not going to be dynamic, means that it's not going to change. So it's going to be an static IP address. You can go ahead and allocate. There we go, and then they just gave you a new IP address. You can go ahead and close it. So now you have a new IP address right here on the security categories, elastic IP. We have a new IP right here, as you can see. Now what you need to do is you need to associate this address to our instance. And the way you do that, you need to select the instance that you have right here running, and you can associate it with it. There we go, close it. And now if you go back to your instances, and there it is. Now you have a new IP address. Let's see if I'm still connected even though I changed the IP address. No, I am not connected anymore. As you can see right here, I cannot press enter or anything like that. So what we need to do is we need to connect to it again because we have changed the IP address of it, right? So let's go ahead and connect to it again. Let's go ahead and connect. And we're going to use this new um, IP address or DNS name. The DNS is right here, and the IP address is this one right here. We got a new IP address, which is an static IP address. It's not dynamic anymore, so it's not going to change. And I believe you pay like $1 or $2 per month for this IP address, so you do have to pay for it. So let's go ahead and connect to it. Command line, paste. You want to remove these quotes. Oops, I forgot to remove the last quote. There we go. Yes. Permission denied, public key. So give me a permission denied now. Um, let's go ahead and try to connect to it again. No such file, public key. It is giving me an error right now. Test.pen. Oh, that's because we are not in the directory. So we need to go into downloads. There we go. And now we're going to be able to do it because that's where my key is. My key is in the downloads. So you need to go where your key is. Otherwise, it won't work. As you can see right here, I was able to connect to it. If we want to do another sudo yum update, and we still have no updates. Okay, that's good. So we are now connected to it. That's good. And as you can see right here, the IP address is now a static IP address. And this one, this private IP address is how you can reach this instance inside your VPC or inside your private network. You're going to be able to reach this instance by going to this private IP address. And here's a private DNS. We don't have any IPv6 IPs, but we have the public IP, which we configured an elastic IP, which is now an static public IP address. It gave me this one, and here's the new DNS, which we use to connect to it now. Okay, so that is good. Let's go ahead and move on, and let's go ahead and try to launch an EC2 Windows machine. So if we go to launch an instance, I want to launch a Linux one. This one right here. I use a Microsoft Windows Server 2010. We're going to stay in the free tier, launch. And we can either use the same key pair So we are going to choose that same key pair. And here it is. Now we have, if we go to the view instances, you can see that I now have two running. The Windows, it is still pending, the Windows one, but the instance um, that we configured earlier, the Linux one, it is running. Okay, so that is good. I just wanted to do that so so you guys can see how we can connect to it. But let's leave it there. So now what we could do is we can go into the security groups, and in the security groups, this is where you are able to configure your. Let's go ahead and delete these ones that I created earlier. Delete security groups. So they are associated, so we cannot delete those because they are associated with the launch that we have. So this one is associated with, let's see, we can tell VPC ID, they are all in the same VPC. The inbound, this one is to allow RDP, so this is the Windows one. So if you go into this one right here, you can see that this one is associated with, let's go ahead and if we can move it up so you guys can see it better. So this one is associated with SSH, um, which is associated with the Linux one. And you can see that the protocol that we want to allow, it is the TCP protocol, and the port range is at port 22, which is SSH, and the source, it is any source that we allow. And so if we want to go ahead and edit this, okay, so we want to edit the inbound rules, you can edit this one and you can specify one like anywhere, or you can do my IP address and it gives you the IP address, my IP address right here, which is 73.172.75.31/32, and it recognizes your IP address, which is kind of cool. And you can go ahead and save it, and it's going to save, and it's only going to allow connection from your IP address. Okay, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to do it from anywhere. And I just created a new one. That's fine. But also, if this server, if you were running a HTTP server or a website, what you could do is you can, since we don't want to use this, let's go ahead and just add a new rule, and you can just allow HTTPS connection protocol TCP. Port range is 443 for HTTPS. Custom, which is going to be we are allowing everything, and you can add a description to it if you want to. Go ahead and save it, and that way, if you have HTTPS, if you're running a website right here, you're going to be able to connect to it via HTTPS. But we don't want that, so let's go ahead and remove those by pressing over here the X, and also let's remove that one. Let's go ahead and save it, and there it is. So that's that way for you to allow that. And if you want to go ahead and instead of SSH, you can just allow HTTP. Let's go ahead and save it. And if we go into the console, as you can see, we are not able to do anything right here because we are not allowed to be on this instance anymore because we remove the inbound of SSH. So let's go ahead and try to connect to it. Let's go ahead and close the terminal. Try to connect to it again. CD, we need to go into downloads. That's where my key is. Let's remove the quotes. And as you can see right here, we're not able to connect to it because SSH is not allowed. It's not allowing the connection. So if we go to edit, add a new rule, allow SSH from anywhere, save it. So this one is allowing for IPv6 and this one is allowing for IPv4 because I said anywhere. So now if we go back to it, we should be able to connect to it. There we go. So now we are connected to it. Okay, so that's how you can configure security groups, and you can define what you want to allow um, for the inbound traffic and for the outbound traffic. As you can see, the outbound traffic is allowing all the traffic, and the inbound is only allowing HTTP and SSH run IPv4 and IPv6. Okay, so that's good. Let's go ahead and go into our instances. You can see that this one right here, my Windows one, it is up and running. Let's go ahead and try to connect to it. As you can see right here, it is a different way to connect to it. So to connect to this one, you need to connect to it via a RDP or RDP, a remote desktop, because it's not via SSH, it's via the remote desktop. So let's see if we are able to connect to it. And I'm going to be using this software for Linux, which is called Remina Remote Desktop Client. And let's see if we are able to connect to it. So the public DNS is going to be this one. Copy it, paste it right here. That's not going to be my username. It's going to be admin username this. Or actually, yep. Let's go ahead and remove this administrator. The password. We need to upload the key pair that we're using. We told that we are going to be using the same one. Let's go ahead and decrypt. There we go. I was able to decrypt it with the key pair that I'm using because I'm using the same one for the Linux. The Linux one, I'm using the same one for the Windows one. So there you go. Password. Let's go ahead and save it. Let's try to connect to it now. So it is saying that the username, password, and domain, it is not working. It failed to connect to it. Let's go ahead and close that. I've never done this before. So let's try to use that IP address. Let's go ahead and edit, paste that here. Let's go ahead and remove this. Connect to it. Let's try it now. So it's still not letting me connect to it. Weird. Okay, so it's not letting me connect to it, but if you have a Windows device and you use RDP, you should be able to connect to it, but it's not letting me connect to it for some reason. But that's fine. Let's go ahead and move on. We already talked about security groups. Let's go ahead and talk about the tags and what you could do with the tags. So for the tags, if you go right here and you want to add a tag, so what you could do for the tag is that you can add like a tag name billing code, and you can add a value right here, 1234. And what you could do this, you could use it for reporting purposes. So if you want to know how much you want to charge or how much you have to charge one of your customers that you are running a instance for, you can just add the tags and add like a billing code 1234. And then if you pull a report, then you know how much you are going to charge that client for which you are running that instance for, right? And you can also do a deployment type. You can say that it is a web server. Um, you can add another tag and you can call it a project, and you can name the name of the project. There's like a test project. I lost connection. Try again. Oops. Okay, let's go ahead and go back. I don't know why I went to that took me to that web page. Let's go ahead and go back to the tags. So like I said before, you can add a billing code right here, and the billing code is going to be 1234. And you know that 1234 is for a customer like Acme, which you are running a instance for. And if you want to know how much that instance costs that month, you can just save that tag, and then at the end of the month, you can go ahead and run a report, and you can see how much you have to charge Acme for the instance that you're running for them. So that is a really good way to use tags for. And also, you are only allowed 10 tags per instance. So if you want to use more than 10, you won't be able to do it because the maximum for it is going to be only 10 tags. That's only That's all it's gonna give you. And if you think I'm lying, you can go ahead and let's see how many. Like I said, it shouldn't give you more than 10. Ah, it's giving me a lot more. Let's go ahead and do the. Let's go ahead and try this. Let's see if the book is wrong. Okay. So I have more than 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Save it. So it is allowing me a lot more tags. So on the book, probably it's an old book that I'm reading. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it is allowing me a lot more than the book says. So the book said that it was only going to allow you 10, but that's a lie. So don't believe what I'm saying. I don't know what's the maximum now, but as you can see, you can add a lot more tags to it. Let's go ahead and just remove those since we're not going to be using it right now. Save it. That's a good thing. That's why you lab, because now you found something on the book that you read that it is not true anymore, because AWS keeps updating and making changes constantly, and that's why it's good to do labs. Okay, so now if you want to check the system usage for a instance, what you want to do is you want to select the instance that you want, and you can monitor over here, and you can see you can monitor the CPU utilization, disk reads operation, disk writes, and you can network out, network in, network packets in counts, and you can see a lot of stuff over here. But if you want to do or see a lot more stuff, what you could do is you can go ahead and configure CloudWatch. And we are going to have a separate video for CloudWatch, because CloudWatch is another, it's really a really big topic. So CloudWatch is going to have its own video, but this is the way that you can monitor what the CPU utilization and the disk reads and the network packets in and packets out and CPU credit usage and all that good stuff. So you can keep track of it, and you can see that the data is showing for an hour. You can either set up for 3 hours, 24 hours, 2 weeks. And if you want to do more than that, like I said, we need to go ahead and configure a CloudWatch alarm or something in CloudWatch. And like I said before, we are going to have a separate video for CloudWatch, because CloudWatch has a lot of stuff that we need to discuss. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. And one other thing that you could do is you could um, change your instance type. And the way that you could do that, you can go ahead into action, and from over here, you need to change the instance type. But as you can see right here, it is grayed out because you first need to stop your instance, and then you're going to be able to change the instance type. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and stop it. Okay. And you can see that we have stop, reboot, or terminate. The difference between them is the stop is just a shutdown. The reboot is going to reboot or restart the system, and terminate is going to shut it down, and then it's going to delete it, right? But we don't want to delete it. All we want to do is stop it. But um, if you want to terminate it, you can go ahead and do that. And a way to stop people from terminating an instance by accident. So if you have like a new user, or you always have new users, and you want to have a termination protection on it, what you could do is you can go ahead into instance settings, and you can go ahead and change that termination protection. And let's go ahead and enable that. So now if you go into the instance state, and you go ahead into terminate, it's not going to allow you to terminate that, because we put a terminate protection on it. So if somebody gets confused, they won't be able to terminate it. Okay, so they're only going to be able to stop it or reboot. So let's go ahead and stop it, because I want to show you guys how you could change the instance type. And as you can see right here, AWS is trying to stop it. And since it is stopping it, we won't have a connection to it. So let's go ahead and close that terminal. There we go. It has been stopped and it is selected. Since it is selected, let's go ahead and go to actions. And actions, you want to go into instance settings, and you can now change the instance type. And as you can see right here, you are able to select. You're not only um, you can select any of them. You can configure select a T tier, an M tier, a C tier, a P, R, or X, Z, D, I, H, I. So you are able to do anything you want. So let's go ahead and change this to M large. Let's go ahead and apply it. And as you can see right here, this instance is going to be changed to a MD5 AD large. So now you can go ahead and launch or start that instance. Yes, let's go ahead and start. And as you can see, just give me an error. You requested an instance type, which is not supported in your requested availability zone, is US East 1D. Please retry your request by not specifying an availability zone or choosing US East 1C. So if we got to change that availability zone, let's go ahead and if you're able to do this from here. So we need to change the availability zone for this one, and that is a good thing. So let's go ahead and just leave it like that. But as you can see, you're able to change that instance type. So let's go ahead and put it back to instance type, and let's just go ahead and select a, let's go ahead to T2 medium or T2 large, which should be in the availability zone. Let's go ahead and refresh. There we go, T2 large. Let's go ahead and try to launch it. And there we go. So the T2 large, it is in my availability zone. So we are going to be able to launch it. So that's how you are able to, like I said, change um, the instance type. You can do it from here, but first you need to shut it down. Do not terminate. You need to shut it down. But like I show you guys, you are able to change the or have a protection in that instance, so they won't be able to terminate. So if you try to terminate, it won't let you terminate. Okay. But if you want to change the termination protection, you can go ahead and disable that. And after you disable that, you should be able to terminate it. As you can see right here, it now lets you terminate it, which is kind of cool. And let's go ahead and delete everything, and that's going to be it for this video. So I'm going to terminate this instance, and I'm also going to release that elastic IP address that we're now going to be using. And like I said, elastic IP is a public static IP address, not like the one that they give you, because the one that they give you is a dynamic IP address, which changes all the time. So let's go ahead and just terminate it. So that's going to terminate this instance, and we're also going to terminate the Windows one, which we are not using. Terminate beans. Okay, so we're going to terminate and shut everything down that we're not using. And this is it for this video, guys. And like I said before, if you are looking for some really good videos, you can always go ahead into IT Pro TV, and you can use my promo code Oscar Oganda 2, and you will get 30% off and a 7-day free trial. And also, if you have a Twitter account, why don't you just go ahead into my Twitter account and follow me at Twitter at TCNA Daily Tips. And if you don't have a Twitter account, go ahead and create a Twitter account and then follow me on at TCNA Daily Tips. And this is it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. Love you.